So today we're going to be going over 10 super strong pure parfum fragrances. These aren't eau de toilettes, they're not eau de parfums. These are about as strong as a concentration you can get. I know I'm not the only one that really enjoys how a pure parfum fragrance wears. This is something that you may not fully understand right away when you're first starting out, but after you experience and wear a bunch of different types of concentrations, you kind of start to see the difference between them, see how they react on your skin. And for me, I like a super heavily concentrated scent. Oftentimes with them, typically you will get a bit less projection in terms of distance, but it does linger in the air for a lot longer. It's a lot more dense and heavy, and it will also last a lot longer than, an eau de toilette. And whereas an eau de toilette may not last as long, but it will have a lot more distance and push out a lot harder, but it'll dissipate in the air quicker. It's completely personal preference, and it also completely depends on what event or situation you're going to. And again, for me, I like the fact that it doesn't have as much distance, but it does leave more of a heavier trail in the air. That's just my preference. Got 10 fragrances here that are pure parfums, and they'll do just that. We got a lot of ground to cover here, so let's just jump into it. First up, Dior Homme Parfum. Now I understand here in the US this one's a little bit hard to get, so my apologies for that. I'm doing it right up front to get it out of the way. Everything else here is easy to get on discounters and that sort of thing, but this does still exist. It is still a fragrance, and well, it had to be in the video. I love Dior Homme Parfum. It's got iris, it's got leather, there's a little bit of oud in here. It's a great scent. I've always loved it ever since I first got it. It's an even more strong, heavy, and rich counterpart to Dior Homme Intense. The stuff here is, it's potent. It is an incredibly strong scent, like you would expect. I won't spend too much time on it because, again, it is a bit hard to get here in the US, but yeah, this one still had to be in the video. I wouldn't be happy with the video if I didn't include it. So there it is. If you are able to get it, or you do have it, or you happen to stumble across the bottle someday, it's worth it. Next up, a newer release, and this one is a bit easier to get, Y Le Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. So this is really an even more strong and a slightly more rich version to the eau de parfum, and of course the eau de toilette. This is just ever so slightly more refined to me. The eau de toilette is a great scent. The eau de parfum took it up a level in terms of performance and also the scent itself. They kind of put a little bit more fairy dust on top. And then Y Le Parfum is even more refined and, again, also very strong. Where the eau de parfum will win in projection, Y Le Parfum definitely wins in its scent trail lasting power, I suppose, and also its longevity as well. I get really good longevity out of this one. I get really good longevity out of the EDP as well. Both of these are plenty strong enough and will last plenty long enough, but this one still kind of takes the cake there. Regardless, this one has quickly rose to the top for me and is one of my favorite flankers. And like I've said before, a lot of times here recently, I've been reaching for the parfum over the EDP. And before the parfum came out, I wore the EDP quite often. It was one that was in my rotation quite a bit. Up next, we have a niche fragrance here from Roja Parfums. A lot of their scents are parfum concentrated scents. They do have the Parfum Cologne line, which is a Parfum Cologne concentration, kind of is a hybrid between like a parfum and an eau de cologne, eau de toilette style thing. So it has really good projection, but also really good longevity at a more affordable price. So they have that going on. And actually, some of their scents at one point came in an eau de parfum. So like I have 3 different versions of Scandal, for example, eau de parfum, parfum, and parfum cologne. Anyway, I digress. This one is Enigma in the parfum concentration. Yeah, it has tobacco, vanilla, cognac. It is a boozy, strong, sexy men's fragrance. I love every single thing about this stuff, from the color of the scent as well. You look at that mixed with the gold accenting on the bottle, looks so luxurious. Of course, the smell, the best part, smells fantastic. The performance is great. This is such a rich, heavy, and luxurious smelling scent. I love this one, especially in the wintertime. And obviously it is a big performer. It is expensive, but if you want to get it at a discount, which you normally can't with these because typically they don't run sales on their website. On discounters, sometimes they're more money. So just go through Twisted Lily. I will have a link down below. If you use my code CHAOS10, you can get 10% off, meaning you can get almost $50 off this bottle if you use that code when it's all said and done. And that code works for everything on Twisted Lily's website, site-wide, always active, so make sure you take advantage of that. Next up, Terre d'Hermes Parfum. So if you thought the original Terre d'Hermes was kind of strong, kind of peppery, woody, orangey, this one is that, but much more. It's got orange, grapefruit, woodsy notes, pretty simplistic note breakdown. And, you know, while there's not a whole lot going on in terms of diversification of notes, what it achieves is just a really refined, masculine, woody scent with a whole bunch of just power behind it, a whole lot of punch. You know, this really does pack a punch. It's strong right from the opening and into the dry down. Again, it's a parfum. It's super heavy. It's super dense. It's super rich. And again, it's a great performer. If you don't like the original Terre d'Hermes, you're not going to like this. But if you do like it, you will for sure like this. In fact, you may like it more if you want something a bit more heavy. Up next, we have a fragrance flanker from a classic, masculine, timeless fragrance lineup. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. It's got lemon zest, sandalwood, cedarwood, amber wood. Yeah, a whole bunch of woods, whole bunch of lemon zest up top. So it opens up kind of bright and fresh like you would expect from Bleu de Chanel, but then it dries down to just a bit more of a creamy woodiness. Masculine, it's sexy, it's a bit warm, it's kind of musky. It's Bleu de Chanel, but even more refined and, again, a bit more warm. The Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum is all about that incense, grapefruit, and then a bunch of freshness. There's a bit more of a heavy richness behind this one. Take your pick, each to their own. I really like the Parfum, though. I know some people don't, but for me, this one works great, and I reach for this one a lot, along with, of course, the Eau de Parfum. It's a really, really good performer. Some people kind of have issues with Bleu de Chanel's performance these days, the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum. To begin with, I don't think they were ever supposed to be beast mode. I mean, they're kind of a gentleman's good-smelling cologne that'll get you through a day and that sort of thing. They're not like club monsters. But the Parfum does do really well in terms of performance. So if you want better performance, this is a really nice option. Up next, we have Homme Le Parfum. So it is rumored, and I don't know for this for sure, again, it's rumored, that this is going to take the place of Ultra Male. Okay, Ultra Male, I've talked about this before. It's always been kind of weird, in stock, out of stock. Prices are high, prices get really high, and then they come back down. It's always been expensive. So you never know what's going on with that one. I don't know if it is going to be discontinued. I don't know if it is discontinued. I don't know what's going on. I've just heard that this is going to be the replacement. Who knows? That would suck because I really like Ultra Male, but I also really like Le Parfum. It has cardamom, it's got lavender, it's got vanilla, it's got oriental notes. So it's a spicier version of the Le Male DNA with a bit of Ultra Male sprinkled in there from that sweetness, that vanilla. That's kind of how this one comes across. It's a great, great flanker. Like, this is a home run. I didn't think it was going to be anything to write home about initially, and when I smelled it, I was like, oh, actually, this is something to write home about because it is really solid. Now, this one may be cheating a little bit because it is technically an Eau de Parfum Intense, but come on. Homme Le Parfum kind of performs like a parfum. I'm saying it's a parfum. You can't stop me. Up next, we have another niche fragrance and the final niche scent for this list. Another one that is expensive, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of how it goes. Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. Look at that bottle. I mean, that is gorgeous. A nice ruby red color. If you like the original, you're going to like this because it introduces almond and it gives it more of a creaminess, and it also gives it a bit more substance. For me, the original, which is an Eau de Parfum, is a very transparent, woody scent. And it's light, not in terms of its performance, but in terms of its scent profile. This one still has that transparent, woody thing going on, but the almond gives it a bit more substance. And just like the Eau de Parfum, this is a strong scent. There was really no need for an extrait in terms of performance. You know, sure, it's nice to have the difference in scent, but it wasn't done for performance because the eau de parfum is already so strong. And so when you introduce this now in pure parfum extrait concentration, it gets even more crazy. I don't know how long this could go because I've never worn it days in a row without showering, but it could probably go for days in a row. Like it's ridiculous. This is another one where it's hard to get discounted normally, so Twisted Lily is going to be your best bet for the eau de parfum, which is plenty strong, or if you want to go all out, you can go with the parfum as well. Again, Chaos 10, 10% off. You might want to use that because again, you're going to be saving yourself like $50 or more if you buy some of this stuff. Nuit Le Parfum. Yeah, Nuit Le Parfum. I really like this one. It's got black pepper, it's got lavender, it's got fruity notes. It's a little bit backwards almost compared to the original Nuit because the original is almost more rich than this. This adds a bit more of almost a bit more of a freshness. This is also one that is technically an eau de parfum, but again, the way it comes across in terms of its delivery, for me, I'm throwing it in the list anyway. Regardless of that, it is a great smelling scent. I really like how it comes across on my skin, and it is a nice different twist on that original Nuit DNA. Next up, Tom Ford Ombre Leather Parfum, the newest release, and one that I really wasn't expecting at all. I did not think I was going to see a ombre leather flanker, but I'm glad that it's out because I really like ombre leather, and I really like this version as well. It's got leather, violet leaf, jasmine, woods. So one thing that this one does do is it brings back the violet leaf. In the original Ombre Leather 16, so that's where this started if you're unaware, Ombre Leather 16, that's where this DNA came from, and that was a private blend. They discontinued that one and then released, you know, this, except not the parfum. They released the original Ombre Leather first in this lineup. And in that one, they took out the violet leaf. But the violet leaf was a thing in Ombre Leather 16, and that's what kind of gave off this ozonic freshness. And the signature Ombre Leather here, the one before this, they took that out and they just used jasmine instead. But they brought it back here in addition with that jasmine. So it has a bit more of an ozonic freshness in a way, but at the same time, the leather still comes across a bit more rich. The scent overall has a bit more of a creaminess, and it does come across like a parfum in terms of its performance and also its smell. All in all, really, really nice flanker. I love this DNA. I think it's a great scent to have in your collection as a man. And given that it's now in this line here, it's a bit more affordable. Now this one hasn't made it to discounters yet as far as I'm aware, but the original of this is on discounters and it's a lot more obtainable than the private blend. So it makes it easier to grab on a budget standpoint. And last up for this video, Armani code Profumo is a parfum concentration, kind of like Acqua di Gio Profumo. Of course, you guys know it, of course. Club Monster, tonka bean amber, all of that stuff, spiciness, sexiness, root beer, everything. You've heard it a million times. I don't need to explain how this one smells because you've probably smelled it yourself and you're probably pretty familiar with it. And even if you don't think you've smelled it, you probably smelled it on someone else. The reason why is because it works and it does smell great. It's a great performer. It's a great night out scent. It's playful, it's sexy, it's masculine, but still sweet, all of that stuff. When it comes down to it, on the designer side, it is a great parfum concentrated scent to have. Well guys, there you have it. There is 10 parfum concentrated fragrances that really bring on the beast mode. If this is what you're after, if you want to skip all of that weak eau de toilette stuff and you want to just dive straight into heavy hitters, super good performers, and a lot of these will be a bit more expensive than the eau de toilette counterparts, this video is for you. So hopefully you found this informative. Let me know down below what are some of your favorite parfum concentrated fragrances. And if you want to grab any of these for yourself, they will be linked down below. Don't forget, Twisted Lily, use code CHAOS10. It's always active, it's always live, it works on everything. They even have samples of stuff so you can get, you know, trial samples and discovery sets and everything of more expensive scents, and that code works on that stuff as well. And if you want bonus content, if you want to chat with me on Discord, all of that stuff, join up to the channel memberships. That will be in the description as well, or you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.